great rock and roll should hurt, and it should change your life, not necessarily for the better, but you keep going back to it.
It's really somewhat of an addiction, loud music, because you want more.
Yeah.
You want more loudness. You want more damage, and
so you have to keep turning it up.
That's right. Yeah.
You know, we've never heard in all of our years, we've never heard anyone shout out from the audience, "Turn it down."
Never.
No.
Well, we wouldn't have heard it anyway.
No, we wouldn't have said it either.
No.
You know.
No. Basically, I've said this before,
Yeah.
but the kind of music we play has to be loud, extremely loud.
Yeah.
Softer music, I found in doing research and listening, music like jazz, it's music based on fear.
Yeah.
The fear, what are they so scared of? You can't hear it. What are you playing so softly for?
Yeah.
It's very...
We should set them right.
Right.
We should say, you want to hear jazz? This is how
You
it goes.
think we want to hear jazz?
You think you want to have jazz?
Yeah.
This is how it goes.
Yeah.
And so it was an opportunity for us to say, all right, jazzers, listen up. This is how it's supposed to be.
How it goes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When it's attacked with volume, energy.
Yeah. And what was there was an unusual time signature. What was it?
4/4.
4/4.
Yeah, and imagination.
And imagination.
All musicians really come from the troubadours of old, the bards, travelling bards. On Ireland they all had harps, and they had lutes in England. But the point was they would strum and they'd play and they'd sing these songs about life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And death.
And death. Yeah.
We took a trip once to Ireland to do some research, and we saw a local rip a stag's horn off his head and blow it. It was the most beautiful sound.
Wait a minute, he blew... What did he blow?
Well, it was like...
Oh, the horn, I see.
Yeah, he had these horns. It didn't hurt the beast. Don't know how that worked. But
How
it
do
was
you
a
know it didn't
mournful
hurt the
sound.
beast?
Because the beast kind of... If a deer could go like this, then he did. Really, if you look at the history of America, which began... when did it begin?
17...
220.
Well, listen, it was discovered in 14 something, so it was a long time ago.
Yeah.
We're talking.
Oh, well, then the red man discovered it, before that.
Well, that goes. They're now.
No, I think they've
it's a
found.
controversy
I
about
think
that.
you're wrong. Yeah, about that.
Really?
Yeah, there were Neolithic people here.
No, but the Indians say there were no Neolithic people. You see,
I think they were
that's where
post-lithic. They were
it's-
post-lithic
yeah,
people.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then
So there were Native Americans, and then they all died, and
Well,
then the real Native Americans.
Yeah,
came
well,
along.
so basically, because I've studied this, the Indians came over. They went to Ellis Island. They checked in. Geronimo, all these people.
And that's where they picked up their
That's where he got the name. They
Yeah.
changed his
Christian
name.
names.
They changed it.
Yeah, it was
it was-
Gershowitz who changed it to
Yeah,
Geronimo.
exactly. Yeah, and then the country began, and then what people don't know is the Indians, the red man, left for a period of about 25 years.
Really, where'd they go?
No one knows. Yeah, they just left.
Stonehenge,
Lost and
probably.
stumbling in the wilderness. I
Yeah, and
suppose.
then, and then they came back, and then the Irish, those famous
Don't start about
wars
the
that they had
Irish.
with the Irish and the Indians,
Yeah.
the Irish-Indian wars.
Yeah.
They talk about the music of the spheres,
Mm-hmm.
and some of the old Greek philosophers talk about that. I think it's what they're talking about. They're talking about the first thing that really happened was the beat, the drive.
Well, it gave them the energy to do the rest of the job.
Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
You need a soundtrack to get on with the rest of
Yeah.
the work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even
What's
if
he
you're just
gonna-
humming to yourself.
what's he going to create the universe listening to music?
Yeah. No.
I
no,
don't think
no.
so.
Or silence. No.
Yeah.
No.
It's done with a respect for anyone who has any kind of religious training or upbringing. You can fit this into your way of thinking about religion if you listen to the lyrics carefully. It's all very
Universal is what it is.
it's universal,
universal.
in its approach to religion.
I think that there is a hunger for spirituality in even the most
Wretched.
wretched or materialistic audience. They're reaching for something. They want something, and hopefully they buy it at the
merch
the
desk,
concessionaire
yes.
stands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I grew up,
You were
East End
poor.
of London, I was very poor.
Very
we were
poor.
poor. We were both poor, but I
you were poorer
think
than
my
I
family
was.
was even poorer. And to grow up in what you call a hellhole, you know,
Yeah.
really one room, one very small room, no loo, you know.
You used to come over to my house to use the toilet.
Yeah, and and so it really was.
Well, everybody in the neighbourhood did, didn't they?
No.
It was looking back on all that was really to me, you know, and how it affected me later in my life, you know, calling it a hellhole sounds very dramatic, but it really was true. You know, the best songs, I think you can say this about anyone, come from real life situations, you know. If you can-
Stardust.
Example.
Good example, yeah.
Yeah. Mersey Dotes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Perfect example.
yeah,
Reeks with experience.
Duke of Earl,
Uh-huh.
Oh yeah.
yeah, anything.
The man who wrote Duke of Earl actually knew the Duke of Earl personally.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that's why
That's what they
it's
say.
so,
It's got the ring of truth.
yes,
Yeah.
it does.
But what is rock and roll about if not stains? Really?
glass.
And glass.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. You took
So-
put the two together.
They put
That's
the
what
two
you did.
together, and there you are. You know, so there was no offence intended,
None taken.
none mended.
We know now, even if you're dead, you're not.
That's right. Well, we got
Especially when you're dead, you're not.
That's the point
That's
at
the-
which you are
that's the-
least dead.
That's the twist.
It's a funny thing, yeah. It's a philosophical conundrum, really.
It's important to wear a conundrum in this day and age.
Oh,
But
They're passing them out of school.
yeah,
the
they
other
do.
day.
Yeah. The idea is to inform people straight out that you're going to rock them, and then rock them.
And then tell them they've been rocked.
They've been rocked. We've
At
never
the
really
end.
written that song. We
That's
should write
the
a song.
one we need.
Have you been rocked?
You've been well and truly rocked.
No,
tonight.
leave it up to them.
No.
Make it like an open question.
Really?
Answer the musical question: have you or have you not been rocked tonight?
Ooh. Yeah.
It's like
But that would be a good idea for an encore song.
yeah.
Have you been rocked?
Have you been rocked?
yeah.
And they go, yes!
Well, we hope they go yes.
Well, yeah.
Otherwise, they go.
Well, no, we play
We want our money back.
No, the sound man pushes the button that says, has the crowd noise going,
Oh.
yeah! It's easy.
A lot of people don't realise that we was doing a little country visit and passed a few sex farms, actual
Yeah.
sex
Working
working
farms.
sex,
They don't have them now.
hard-working sex
Family owned.
family
working
owned,
sex
family
farms.
run, family, you
Everything.
know.
Yeah.
That's where they get the expression stupiteria from.
I've never heard that expression.
That's true.
Well, that's where they got it though. In
Yeah.
case I ever hear
And
it.
you've got
yeah.
pigs and chickens and cows all
And they're
running
all
for
doing
their
it,
lives.
always
yeah.
having sex and
Yeah.
yeah.
And milkmaids.
Yeah.
Less said the better, right?
Well,
Yeah.
get to work.
You hear that,
Get to it,
you know,
darling.
early in the morning.
What's that?
It's
duck.
it's the female duck saying,
We had made a trip down to Jamaica. It was like 78 or 9, something like that.
1980. actually.
Yeah, that's right. And we had such a good time.
Ah,
Such a
magical
marvelous
place.
time.
Yeah.
Complete magic.
But we were going to do a whole record down there, weren't we?
Yeah, but it wasn't going to be good because after we'd kind of blown our wad on this one tune, we didn't have much reggae in us.
Yeah,
I think it's not endemic to middle-aged white men from the UK.
It's a very romantic notion of coming to a large country.
And yet feeling like a small child.
yeah, we come
being
from a
birthed.
fairly small
we
island,
we
yeah.
little place.
Yeah.
yeah, and
Another
then
strange thing, I was thinking about this the other day. The United States is very large, Britain is very small.
We just said
and
that.
the United States used to be part of Britain.
Well, everything big used to be part
what are you
of it.
talking
Yeah,
about?
India as
India.
well. And what were they thinking?
We were thinking we'd get bigger.
Sad little country, trying to
They were
run each
thinking
other.
we'd get bigger.
And we didn't. Got
We-
smaller.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. But at one time, famously, at what was the club? I was someplace in London, South London. We played Short and Sweet for 2 hours. And 2 hours of that relentless Bo Diddley beat it left a mark. It scarred me internally, but it was worth it.
It drives you
Yeah.
diddly, literally.
You
It
go
drives you
through,
diddly.
it's like living an entire life while you're playing one song.
The Beatles were smart. They said, we like jelly babies, and so people would throw jelly babies at them. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, I guess
What
we
are you
should
gonna
have
do?
thought.
I don't think you can say that anymore. Is that
Jelly babies?
derogatory in
No.
some?
No.
No?
No, you think of chocolate babies. You can't say that.
Oh,
yeah,
God.
okay. Yeah.
No, they don't make those anymore. They make root beer barrels. They're good.
Can't say that.
Why not?
Somebody took offence, didn't they?
Root beer barrels?
Yeah.
Oh, you think
Big
something-
Germans.
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
you're
yeah,
right,
that's
yeah.
true.
There's
Yeah.
a thing in Cologne.
That's
yeah,
right.
I
Yeah.
remember reading about that, yeah.
Nigel had this terrible nightmare
Yeah.
where the devil was trying to make him eat a set of drums.
Yeah, it was very vivid. I remember waking up, sweating, which I do anyway,
Yeah.
and the devil, and it was that kind of devil from cartoons, with the
Red.
crimson sort of face with the
Yeah.
horns and the pitchfork, and he was standing over me like that, just about to, impale me, and he said in a that low kind of devil voice, "You will eat drums, Nigel." And so I woke up.
Did you tell him you don't play drums?
No.
It had nothing to do with it. That's just part of it. The devil is in the details, after all. Yeah, one of the
And in
details
the dream
was-
as well.
Yeah. Well, what can you say about Stonehenge? It's one of the most famous earthworks in all of Europe.
Yeah. It's not even earth.
No, it's stone.
Stonework.
Hence
Stonework,
hence
Hence the
stone.
name.
Earthhenge doesn't exist as far as we know.
Nor does Woodhenge.
No, but it ought.
Historically, this goes way back, love hearing low sounds. It's
Yeah.
like whales and orangutan and various creatures of the night. They love a low sound.
Whales are creatures of the night.
Well, what do you think they do?
Well, it's always dark where they are.
Yeah,
so
that's
they're
what I
under
mean.
water, but
Yeah.
that's not night.
It's not always dark because they swim near the surface.
No.
And it's light.
Not very
No,
much.
they don't. No.
Huh?
Only when they know there's a ship full of people
Yeah, then
watching them. Then they come
they
up
breach.
and
Yeah.
take the close up.
Yeah.